Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you my latest 3D printed wall art project named The Abyss. This is my second multicolor wall art project, and it uses my round wall art base design. The round base design features interlocking parts and a built-in mounting structure to hang it with or without backplate. I do recommend gluing and mounting it to a backplate if you want to try this yourself. If you want to learn how to create these unique wall art pieces or bases for your projects, you can find a series under the courses section on my channel. This series takes you through all the steps from idea and planning to base designs and printing your models as well. Let's go through the design for this piece first. This Abyss project, I started with a rough idea that I had. After spending hours in Blender, I still didn't have a design that I was happy with, unfortunately. I started from a geometric perspective, trying to create round shapes that got sharper towards the ends and had sort of a flow to it. But even after starting over 3 or 4 times, I still didn't have something that I liked. Then I remembered that Blender had a sculpting mode, which I never used before. I don't feel myself sort of a sculptor, but the shapes that I was after were not really geometric anymore. So I decided to give sculpting a try. After playing around for a few more hours, I finally had a design that I liked. It went easier than expected. It did make it a bit more gory and organic looking than the initial idea, but I liked it. Instead of geometric spikes, I now have organic spike tentacle thingies. For a piece named The Abyss, I felt it did fit the theme, so I kept it. And it took a few more hours to connect and tweak everything, making sure that it prints nicely and connects properly to the round base design as well. This was a bit more challenging as I was now working with more organic shapes that have to fit to a existing mesh or grid. But in the end, it all worked out. And I had a lot of fun creating it, and I gained some sculpting experience as well. The other wall art pieces fit kind of nicely on a blank wall or in most interiors, the previous ones. But for this Abyss piece, I made an additional border to go around the piece. This prevents the look of some random spiky tentacle thingies spawning on your wall. It seems more like a portal of some sort now, which is a much more reassuring place to have some organic tentacles spawn from. The color selection for this project was set from the beginning. I had a multicolor in mind and even ordered and delivered before I even started designing. For the Abyss, I went with the Bamboo Lab PLA Multicolor Velvet Eclipse. I thought the color would go well with the motion and the darker feeling that I wanted this piece to have. Knowing what I learned from last project, The Eye of the Storm, which was my first multicolor print, I did a test print first to confirm whether the color shifts would be direction sensitive again. And it was. So instead of getting quite lucky last time, I could use it to my advantage now to enhance the design. When choosing the orientation on the print bed, I went through several different options and I settled on a darker underside of the organic spike tentacle thingies and the red color on top. This would give it some additional visual depth, almost like light and shadow surfaces without having to light them. When looking from an angle, because it's a round design, you can always look underneath one side of the spikes, so you get a great contrast between the colors as well. A nice addition is that this orientation also allows me to hide the seams underneath the spikes. The printing for this project went very well. There are 3 unique parts for this print. the main pieces with the design. The single piece has to be printed 10 times. The centerpiece, this piece has to be printed once. And the border piece, which is optional and it has to be printed 6 times. Everything is designed to be printed without infill and without supports. Each main piece uses about 80 grams of filament and you need to print 10 of them, so one roll of filament should be enough for the design as well. I didn't have any issues printing the main parts, and for the center part I tried 2 different orientations because I had a multicolor PLA. I wanted to see if the color shift effect would look better than a single color of those 2 colors. In the end, I found that the single color was too bright and the multicolor just looked better to me. I also got the idea not to glue the centerpiece to the backplate. This way you can still rotate it when it's on the wall to make it look more fitting or natural. You can aim the brighter side to a light source or window and this way it blends in even more. Cleanup was a breeze as well. Except for a few tiny strings, I didn't even have to take out the pliers. After printing, it was time for assembly. I always like to do a dry fit first, just to make sure I have the proper dimensions and that all the parts fit together. Here I noticed that the border was not sized properly. It was too large and it didn't even fit. The border was exported with the wrong scale from Blender to Bamboo Studio. I corrected the scale in Blender, exported and updated all files, and started a reprint with the H2C, where all the 6 pieces fit on a single print bed. The first border I did on the P1S in 3 batches with 2 pieces per print bed, while the H2C was printing the main pieces. So this was very easy to have a single file reprint. The second border fit nicely. Getting the border to fit properly is a bit of a challenge though, as it is designed to clamp the center pieces. There's a lip that goes under the center part and a smaller lip that goes over the edges of the center part. And this provides extra rigidity and hides any gaps in the design. It does make assembly a bit more challenging if you want the border. But in the end, I was able to fit everything together nicely. Now that I know everything fits together, it's time to take it all apart again. I try to do this quite carefully because I don't want to break any parts. And for this project I'm going to use an aluminum backplate again. I ordered a few before this project started with a 50 cm diameter. This was not calculated for a border project though. So if you want to make this design with the border, I would recommend a backplate with a 56 cm diameter. Without the border, a 50 cm diameter should be perfect. I start off by measuring the distance from the edge of a piece to the center of the mounting recess. Because it's a round piece, it doesn't matter where on the edge we place it, so I mark the distance with a permanent marker. I also went to the store to get a proper 10mm metal drill bit to make my life a little bit easier. The recess is 12mm in diameter and I drill a 10mm hole, so the weight will be on the slightly smaller hole in the backplate. I get my Uhu Alles Kleber glue ready for the glue up and I do a final wipe down of the backplate with some isopropyl alcohol. Just to make sure my greasy fingerprints and potential dust is gone. This way the glue can have a proper adhesion with the backplate. I like to work in a structured order, so I start with the piece where the mounting recess will go over the backplate mounting hole. And then I work my way all around the piece. I put some glue on each edge where the pieces interlock and on all the larger flat surfaces of each piece. This glue will set after about 10 minutes, so there is some time in the window where you can still move everything around. I knew the border might give me some issues to mount, having to snap into place around the center pieces with a lip underneath and over the inner edge as well. But in the end, with lifting the center pieces and working my way around, pushing the bottom lip between the backplate and the center pieces, I was able to fit the border eventually. Because the lip of the border raises the edge of the center slightly, this will create a small void, so make sure to use enough glue to compensate for that as well if you're printing the borders. In the end, or if you want to try this for yourself, I think it might be easier to just fit everything together, just like with the dry fit. Carefully flip it over, apply glue on each printed piece where you want, and then place the backplate on top. This way you can easily fit everything together and glue once. You just have to align the mounting location over the recess. And you're just missing the glue on the interlocking parts. I would then flip it back to the backplate to let it dry, so no glue can seep through the printed parts and they aren't strained or damaged by the weight of the piece. So that might be an easier way to do the glue up as well. After gluing, I gave everything a final push onto the backplate and tested if the center was still spinning, which it was. I waited for the glue to dry and added an additional bead of glue where the border and the backplate meet up, just for some extra rigidity and making sure that the border is also properly adhered to the backplate. And with that, the Abyss was finally done. Here is the final result. It exceeds my initial ideas and expectations by far. This final look is definitely not what I expected, but it fits the theme and I think it's worthy of the name The Abyss. Using the direction of the multicolor PLA to create more depth was definitely the right choice as well. It absolutely draws your attention and stands out on a wall. It's very different from my other 3D printed wall art pieces and I like it. Let me know what you think about this 3D printed wall art project in the comments below. I would love to hear your ideas and thoughts as well. Here are some of the numbers for this project. Dimensions: it would have a 50 cm diameter without the border or a 56 diameter with a border, and the depth of 5.5 centimeters. Final weight, including the backplate, is 1.62 kilograms. Print time for the PLA Multicolor Velvet Eclipse pieces is 43 hours and I used 830 grams of filament. Print time for the border in black PLA is 3.7 hours and I used 175 grams of filament. That's not counting the failed border. Total project print time is 48 hours and it uses 1 kilogram of filament. And that will be it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Makerworld files in the description below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to get notified when new projects go live. Thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.